This is the sixth dialogue between J. Krishnamurti and David Bohm at Brockwood Park, 1975.
C'est à vous.
Well, there's several points we could raise. One question is, we were discussing last week the question that truth does not make any contact with reality, right?
Yeah.
And now, I think we should perhaps clear that up a bit. One point is that since reality is thought and the activity of thought, that if thought ceases, that would suggest that reality ceases.
If
Thought, in other words, that's not clear.
I was saying to somebody the other day in London when I went to the dentist, he asked me what we were talking about.
Oh.
I said about reality and truth. He said, what is reality? I said, that everything in which included the activity of thought. He said, and truth has nothing to do with that. He said, that seems so obvious. And he said, why do philosophers make so much fuss about it? So if reality is the activity of thought, and with the cessation of thought, will truth be apparent? Will truth appear? I don't think so quite.
No.
First of all, can thought be stopped or put an end to or naturally cease? And can thought be stopped through various media, through various systems and so on, so on, so on? And we're asking if that takes place, can truth exist?
Yes, truth be actual, I suppose. Can truth be actual?
Truth be?
Will truth be actual then?
Actual. Yes, truth be actual. For the moment, I don't think it happens that way. Let's examine, go into it. Thought is so cunning. It can mesmerize itself or hypnotize itself and think it is very quiet. That's one point. And there are various systems, including Zen and the Hindu forms of quieting thought, and control is still not ending thought. Because one thought superimposes upon the other, and so on. Can then thought ever be silent? If it is not through meditation, in the ordinary accepted sense of that word, if it is not through any system, if it is not if it has not induced itself very subtly to be silent, and if none of these can bring about a real silence of the mind, and if there is something that can silence the mind, then is truth actual? No. I think something else has to take place. That's the answer.
Oh, what is it?
Yeah, that's for good. What do you?
Well, let's try another question. You see, if I recall, we also said, that we made a distinction, say, between a thought which is inherently, by its nature, twisted, and the ability to make a mistake
And correct it and make
correct
it,
it, which is due to wrong information.
Yes.
But you see, perhaps also this, if we clarified this a little further, we went into it further. See, sometimes it's not clear the distinction between, say, a simple mistake and the kind of confusion that the thought gets into, right? Because, well, let's say that somebody does something foolish, you see, and he may not know exactly why he does it, and perhaps eventually he sees it, and he ceases to do it.
I mean, something out of ignorance.
Not necessarily ignorance, but just simply unawareness, you see.
Yes, unawareness.
And then one wonders, what is the source of the unawareness? You see, as I say, there are two kinds of unawareness. Some simple failure to be aware, perhaps, I don't know how to put it, and another unawareness which is due to thought, which has a systematic tendency to suppress awareness. Right? In other words, the ignorance of thought is not merely lack of knowledge, but it's ignoring. It ignores in order to be more comfortable, in order to have more pleasure, right? More security.
It wants to remain in its own stable.
Yes, it doesn't want to disturb the equilibrium of its operation. Because it's frightened that if it does, everything will go to pieces.
That's right.
Now, and therefore, that kind of ignorance is thought positively ignoring.
Quite.
And there's another kind of ignorance which is negative, which is, in the simplest case, lack of information. But then it may sometimes seem rather hard to distinguish if somebody does something foolish, whether it's due to thought ignoring or whether it's due to further lack of information of a subtle nature.
Right. Are we trying to find out where truth can never make a mistake?
Yes, in a way. In other words, is there some, other than lack of information, of course. See, in other words, I said last time something like the computer given wrong information gives the wrong answer. That's necessary.
Of course.
And now, if you were to take the analogy of the computer a little further, you could say if some things might begin to go wrong with the computer, and it would give wrong answers for a different reason.
For different, quite.
And that's the sort of question we're into, you see.
Yes. So what is it we're asking, sir?
Well, I think, you see, it becomes, a little ambiguous. If one could be clear to say, it seems truth could not become involved in any form of deception.
Yes. Truth cannot deceive itself.
No. Yes.
Obviously not.
Yes. And that would have to be thought. Now, is it possible, say, in your case, for example, that thought would go on for a certain period of time, and then you would see something, see it, and then it would end? Or, I mean, I'm just trying to find out. Or is it instantly, or?
So I think we have to consider, haven't we? How does it happen? Or when does truth manifest itself?
Yeah, well, last time we said it didn't, you see.
Huh?
Last time I think we said the truth does not manifest.
Manifest in the sense...
in reality, anyway.
Yeah. No, let's get this clear. Let's let it clear. We are saying there is reality and truth. We know the activities of thought in that field. And we say that field of reality has no relationship, no connection with truth. And then we say, how does truth appear? Is that it?
Yes.
Is truth an abstraction?
Well, no, it better not be. I mean, it wouldn't make much sense if it were an abstraction.
No, so it is not an abstraction.
No, that would be thought.
I mean, it would still be the form of thought calling itself truth. All right, it's not an abstraction. It must be out of time.
Yes.
It must have no continuity. So it must have no relationship to the past or to the future.
Yeah, which implies that, like we said last time, there's no relationship to thought.
Thought.
Now,
I've just...
Yeah. And that seemed in some way fairly good, fairly clear. Except now that, you see, it's now a question of the totality of it. See, if you say there's an action of truth which is always right,
which is always total, whole, we agree.
Yes. And this is not necessarily continuous, though.
No,
of course,
cannot be.
No, but it may happen from moment to moment.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And in between, there may be incomplete awareness then.
In between, I see.
Lack of complete attention. You see, I'm trying to get a clear...
yes, I understand. I have to go into this a little bit more.
Yes, if I could say one more point there, see, which is, we say that in some sense thought is not present, it's gone, it's when truth operates.
Yes.
Truth. And
yes.
Now, nevertheless, see, in one stage we were saying that thought is inherently twisted. And I raised the question of whether we could even do without it, do all the functions which we do without it, but it's not clear whether we can or not.
We can or not
do without thought in between. You see,
quite.
Now, or is there something like another function which will do the function of thought without being twisted? Or the other possibility is that thought works still it gets a bit twisted and truth comes in a flash. You see, these are the...
Yes. Should we approach it? I'm just asking.
Yes.
What is action?
All right.
Could we come through it that way? We know the activities of thought, changing patterns, each pattern creating its own disorder, its own mischief, its own pain, and moving always within that area. We know the activity. So what is action which is not of that area, of that field? It must be without a motive. It must be without conformity, without imitation, following a pattern and so on. So it must be totally free from memory. Would you?
Yes, well, that's this action.
Huh?
The action of truth.
Truth. The action of truth must be total. That is a...
What?
That's a tremendous... Yes, that's right. I'll stick to that.
Yes, but still there is also the action of memory, you see. I mean, or is there, you see, now?
I just want to catch a little bit. Truth, the action of truth is free from all memory.
But it may use memory, or may it? Or perhaps it doesn't.
If it acts instantly,
then it uses no memory.
No memory.
Yes, all right. In other words, memory is another activity.
Yeah.
A different order.
But, wait a minute. I'm beginning to see something. Wait a minute, let's go into a little bit. Perceiving without the perceiver, which means there is only perception, and the action of perception is instantaneous and therefore it is true. In that case, memory is not necessary.
No, not at that moment.
Not at that moment. At that second or whatever, at that moment. Memory is not necessary. When is memory necessary? To carry out that action? To carry out that perception?
Well, it could be. I mean, it also could... See, memory might be necessary in all the various activities in which you are doing.
Yes.
For example, moving around.
Yes.
Now, I'm not sure that the perception is carried out, you see.
No, then if it is not carried out, then it's not truth.
It's true, it has to be, but is it carried out in reality?
Is it carried out
in the
field
reality.
of reality? Just let me think. Is it carried out in the field of reality? Now just a minute. There is perception which is to see things as they are actually. See what is actual, without the interpretation of the perceiver with all his background, so on, right?
All right, so we see what is actual, and that actuality may include, as I see it, the actuality of our thought, that it's false.
Yes. But we are, for the moment, we are considering what is the action of truth, and has it any relation to memory in action, in carrying out?
What?
No. Oh no. We say time and truth is from moment to moment. And the action of truth is from moment to moment. And that action is totally unrelated to memory. Finished.
Right. Now let's then consider the action of memory, you see. Because
that's quite different.
It's a different one, but I want to consider it.
Yeah, quite. We can go into that.
Now, see, besides that, we have the action of memory.
Yes, the action of memory.
In order to find your way around, you need it in order to do various jobs.
Yes, all that.
All right, and now that action of memory, insofar as it's thought, may become twisted.
Yes.
Confused.
No, sir, I don't think it can get twisted if there is total integrity.
Well, now we have to come, because that again brings up the question of a apparent relation between truth and thought, you see.
Yes, but I'm not...
let's consider it. Yeah.
If there is complete integrity in thought itself...
Yes, all right. But that's a kind of truth in thought. I mean, it's almost the same as talking of truth in thought.
No.
What is the distinction between integrity and truth, you see?
Oh, Lord.
Well, we got to...
yeah. What is integrity?
Well, it really means wholeness, you see, oneness.
Is integrity wholeness?
It's oneness, you see. It means that.
Yes, I see.
It means it's not divided, not fragmented, not contradiction, not confused. You see, it's integral.
All right, sir. One can be totally integrated and living a life of non-fragmentation, living a life whole in the ordinary sense. Now, is that man living a life of truth?
Well, I don't think he could actually be truly integral without living a life of truth. You see, I think he would be deceiving himself.
No, what I'm trying to say is can thought ever be totally integral?
Well, that's the question I'm raising, you see, because you seemed to imply a minute ago that it could, you see.
Can't it, sir?
All right.
Can't thought see its own fragmentation and
very well, perhaps it could, but you see, why does thought then generally disintegrate, you see, to fail to be
Why does
thought fail to be integral? I would put it to disintegrate.
Because it is not aware of its aware in the sense, it's not, it doesn't aware, I'll use the word in the ordinary sense, it is not aware of its fragmentary character.
Yes, well...
When it becomes aware of its fragmentary character, is that truth?
Well, that is the truth of thought, isn't it? It is fragmentary.
That is the truth of thought?
The truth of the nature of thought.
Truth of the nature of thought. Right. But that is not truth, is it?
No, well, the truth, what is the distinction between the truth of something and truth? We must get that clear, you see.
That, we are getting there. What's the distinction between the nature of...
The truth of the nature of thought and truth itself, you see.
The truth of the nature of thought. I can see my thought being fragmentary, and thought then realizes the actuality of its movement.
Right. But when it realizes the actuality of its movement, it's aware of it.
Is that truth?
That in itself, no, but
No.
But it is the truth of.
It is the truth of. It is the truth in the false.
Yes, the truth in the false. That's what I meant. Yes.
Yeah, it's the truth in the false.
Yes.
But that truth is not the truth.
Yes. Well, truth itself, we'll say, is beyond what we could describe.
Yes.
You see.
Yes.
Now, but you see, we're still in this area which is unclear as to where the truth apparently has a relation to thought, in the sense that we discussed the truth of the nature of thought. Do you see?
Truth, the nature of thought. Yes.
The truth of the falseness of the nature of thought. Do you see?
Yes.
And that seems to establish a relationship again.
No, let's. I see the truth in the false.
Yes.
And also I say that truth is not the truth.
No. But now I'm not very clear about what the distinction is.
Yeah, we're trying to verbally be clear.
Mm-hmm.
I see my thoughts are crooked. I see, because I see my thoughts are crooked, the seeing is the truth, is the truth that the thought is crooked.
Yes.
That's all.
But that is a truth, right?
No.
What you just said, so.
I know.
Yeah, but I mean, you said it was the truth.
It was the truth in the false.
Yes, the truth in the false. Now, we want to get clear.
There is a division.
The truth in the false.
Oh, yeah.
What is the division?
The false and the true.
Yeah.
In truth, the truth has no division. In that, there is no false.
Yes. All right, but you see, it has been suggested by some people that we should not use the word true and false as opposite, but rather correct and incorrect.
Yes, correct, all right. Correct and incorrect. You can use any word.
And,
right.
I mean, it will avoid the difficulty.
I understand. Correct and incorrect.
So you could say that what is correct about the correctness of thought is it is correct to see its incorrectness. I don't know, to see its twistedness.
The thought sees
its twistedness correctly.
Yeah, the thought sees its incorrectness
correctly.
Correctly. yes. Thought sees itself as incorrect correctly.
Yes.
Right. Yes. And the seeing correctly of the incorrectness of thought is, you're saying, is truth. Part is.
Well, no, I'm ready to drop that now because of this different language, you see.
I see. All right.
In other words, I think that part of the trouble may have been some confusion about the use of words. You know, the same word for different things, you see.
Now, truth has nothing to do.
No, now it's clear. In this language, it's clear that truth has nothing to do with it, you see.
Right.
Now, but I wanted to clear up one more point. When you say thought sees, I thought we could put it like this, that we not only have awareness, but conscious awareness, as we call it. You see, that there is a kind of awareness which includes, which is the awareness which goes with thought.
Yes, like a good business, quite.
Yeah, conscious awareness, you see. And it's that conscious awareness which sees the properties of thought.
Yes.
So it's not an inconsistency to say that thought sees something, do you see?
Yeah, I see. Thought sees the incorrectness.
Yes, the thought is consciously aware of the incorrectness of its mode of operation, you see.
Yes, right. The mode of its operation, correct and incorrect. Now, that's simple enough.
Yeah.
Then what's the question?
Well, then, you see, I think then there's no question, because we say truth is really something different.
Different.
You see, a lot of the trouble has come because we're using...
that is so, it is entirely different.
Yeah, the word true has been used in several different senses.
Different, quite. Correct and incorrect.
Yeah.
Right.
Now...
Then what is the problem?
Now, yes, well, let's try to put it now. You see, I'll bring in a few more points if you don't mind. I've been reading Mary Lutchen's book about you.
Oh, you're too bad.
Which I find quite interesting.
Oh, Lord.
Well, I assume you wanted it read because
It's probably...
you seem to approve of its
Go ahead. No,
of its publication.
I asked, the facts are these. Rajgopal asked, what's his name? Alan Watts and someone else, if they would help him to write the biography. Knowing what Rajgopal is, knowing in quotes, I said that must never happen, because then it'll all be one-sided and not complete. So I asked Mary, and she said, I'll try and do it. I asked, Shiva Rao in India had collected during many years all the events that took place. And he was going to do it, but his eyesight failed. And then I said to him, could I ask Mary Lutchens? She said, delighted. He knows her. He said, if she does it, I'll accept it. And that's how it happened.
Right. Well, I think it's a very well written book. It's quite
Joe,
interesting.
you mean you've got hold of the book already and read it?
Yes. Well, it holds your attention. Now.
But Mary gave us a copy.
I see she gave us a copy.
Of course, she said that. That's right.
But
quite right. Sorry.
Now, you see, and that raises, this book discusses some process you went through, some transformation, and it always raises the question of the difference between, the state of truth and the ordinary state.
Yes.
Which really, I think would help us if we got it very clear. Now, see how I could put it, that see, it's never clear whether this transformation is sudden or gradual, or whether it ever took place at all. And
I think, sir,
yes.
there are several points there involved. We talked about last time, when we were here, or rather downstairs, a mind that's unconditioned. It may be because that such a mind was unhealthy at the beginning,
Yes.
weak, couldn't retain, couldn't be impressed upon.
That was the theory we considered.
One of the
last week,
theories.
yes. And it seemed to...
And one other theory, reincarnation, other theory is goodness
Yes. Now,
personified in a person
Yes.
called Maitreya, if you accept that, and manifest and so on. That's one thing. Then there is Then there is this whole idea which exists in the East and has been written about and gone into, and several people have, serious people, not charlatans, been through it. That is, the Hindu tradition, and they say that there is they call it serpent power.
Kundalini.
I didn't know it. Kundalini.
Well, I mean, it was referred to in the book as well.
Right, if it is referred to in the book, I must take it up. That Kundalini can be awakened and a different kind of energy comes into being. These are the 2 points. And transformation, I'm beginning to question.
What?
I'm beginning to question whether there was any transformation at all.
Well, that's what I felt in reading the book, you're saying.
Oh, you felt that?
Yeah.
Oh, then
well, at least
we're coming
I
together.
couldn't see any particular place where it would have happened, do you see?
Yes. I think, sir, something, I can tell you one thing. I don't know how to put this. In that book, the brother dies.
Yes.
Actually, I have no memory of that. It's not pretentious, forgetful, but
Yes.
actually I'm fairly truthful with regard to these matters.
Yes, I understand that.
Either he could have gone into cynicism, bitterness, unbelief, and threw the whole thing out, which he didn't do. Or he could have taken comfort in reincarnation, in meeting the brother elsewhere, which he didn't do either. So what actually took place? If we could penetrate that, then perhaps we can understand the transformation never took place.
Yes, and I think, you see, what's also interesting is that finally, toward the end, the step was made by, the truth is a pathless land,
Yes.
That, in other words, you were saying more or less the same thing about truth that we are saying right now,
Right.
you see, and therefore...
Yes.
I was struck by the similarity, almost identity.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You didn't discuss reality then, but at that time you were still using the word in its ordinary sense, but truth was...
Yes. I think then, if neither reincarnation and all the comfort involved in it, nor the cynicism and throwing all that and becoming worldly and, just disappearing in worldliness. Worldliness being not money and all that, because that wouldn't have interested him. Just disappearing in some kind of idiocy. Those did not take place. I think what probably happened, because it was so long ago, I have no recollection, is facing the truth of death.
Do you feel that was a crucial step there?
No, I think that's it. We're coming to something. I don't think that was a crucial step.
No.
Though others have said that is the crucial step.
Yes. Yes, it never, in the book it didn't appear that, you could call it a crucial step. Well,
No.
It seems important. But
No. But facing the truth of death.
Yes. But now we have to come back to this question of truth. Would you say the correctness or the truth here?
Wait a minute. Yes. I think facing that actuality.
Yeah, the actuality of death.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's better. Facing the actuality of death freed him from the reality of thought.
Oh.
I think there's something in that. So could we put this thing differently? Can the mind be totally detached? From its body? Wait a minute, I must go slowly, I'm quickening. Is there a state when the mind is wholly free from all detachment?
All attachment.
All attachment. Attachment is incorrect.
Yes.
And mind, a thought can see the incorrectness of attachment.
Yes. Yes, or say it can be aware of it, yes.
Yes. Consciously aware.
Consciously aware.
The implications of attachment.
Yeah, I prefer that word because seeing is perception.
Thought can be conscious or
consciously aware.
Consciously aware of all the implications of attachment. And says, thought can say, well, I won't touch it anymore.
Yes. Now, but let's try to go slowly into this. You like to refer to the fellow as that boy.
And that boy, yes.
Or he was a young man, I suppose.
Yeah.
And
no, as a matter of fact, sir,
what?
I read the book
Right.
off and on, few chapters, few pages of it, really. I haven't gone right through it. I think it's very difficult to talk about this. Because
What?
Very difficult to talk about it.
It might help to get it clear.
If you talk to me a little bit
Yes,
about
I'll
it,
try to talk a little.
yeah.
You see, let's say we go back to that boy or the young man who was to a certain extent attached to some of the things about the theosophical, the beliefs of not exactly the beliefs, but the...
I question it.
Oh, well, was there any attachment at all?
I question it.
Oh.
That's what I'm questioning.
But at least there appeared to be.
Whether he was just making noise out there.
Oh. Well, for example, there were letters he wrote in which he seemed to accept it all.
Because he was just repeating what there was no conditioning, but at the peripheral state, he was repeating things which was told to him.
Yeah.
I think that would be accurate.
Well, now let's
That would be correct.
All right. The other point, is which would suggest some form of conditioning is this process, as Mary Lutjens calls it, in which there was so much suffering. She describes a process which took many years off and on.
Yes.
And she said there was a great deal of suffering, and it was not clear what was happening then, you see. I mean, whether it had any part in the transformation or not.
Defense?
Did it have any part in the transformation or not? You see, it might be very...
I don't think so.
Yes, I wanted to say, just for the sake of making it clear, that it might be very discouraging for people
no, I don't think
if it did, because they would say, how could we ever do it?
No, I think so. There are two answers to that.
Yeah.
The theosophical conception that Maitreya, whether you believe it or not, that's not the point. The theosophical conception at that time, and probably still is, or the tradition in India and in Tibet, that there is a Maitreya. Who is the essence of goodness, let's talk. That goodness has to manifest in the world when the world is in a state of collapse. That's what the tradition says. In the state of evil, in the state of destroying itself. What are we talking about?
Well, you see, I'll come back to it. That we're talking, trying to get clear whether this young man was really attached and conditioned or not. Now, you see, I wanted to finish. So let's say, aside from the letters and the relationships, which you say are very superficial, then it seemed there was something that was deeply involved in this suffering, which, involved at least on first sight, some form of attachment, say, to the image of the mother or something, you see, or...
No attachment.
No, I mean, you have no... But do you have any idea what was involved there?
Attached to the mother.
Well, you see, as I can remember reading about this thing which took place over a period of years, I mean, some of the phenomena were, intense pain in the head or in the neck or the spine. But there appeared to be periods when he called for his mother.
No, because I think that's merely physical reaction to, because when you suffer, somebody won't,
yes.
That's all. That's not.
It was not very significant.
No.
Right. But then you have no...
I'm glad to have all this out now.
Well, I think it helps to clear things up, you see, because it will enable us to see the essential point, you see.
Quite right.
Now the other... So, but then, do you have any idea or any explanation of what the trouble was about, do you see? Or was it just something you don't know anything about?
I'm afraid I don't know actually anything about it.
No, it could have had any reason.
No, it could have any reason. Now, wait a minute. What we started out saying, must everybody go through this?
Yes, if so, it looks very unpromising.
It looks terrible.
Well, most people won't have the time for it anyway.
Columbus discovered America. Must everybody go become Columbus to discover America?
No. All right, so this was the fortuitous way in which this thing came about with you, right?
Yes.
For reasons that are, peculiar to your own situation. I mean, why you went through this process as something peculiar to you then? Or?
No, you see, if you have gone into the question of Kundalini,
yes,
the whole idea there, as far as I've been told by others, and some who have been through it, it is a form of awakening or releasing energy through various centers in the body.
Yes.
And those centers have been dormant or not fully in operation.
Yes.
And therefore, when this energy is in movement, it passes through these centers, so-called, then there is a certain amount of trouble, certain amount of pain, disturbance, and that is probably.
But is that is not necessary for the transformation that you discussed.
No,
definitely not.
Definitely not.
But in that sense, it was a sort of a side issue.
No, I wouldn't put it aside.
Well, let's see. How was it connected then?
And I haven't thought about this. I must go into it. All right, so let's go into it.
Yeah.
There was that young man, or a boy, vague, mentally not up to his age.
He had suffered malaria. Which was very disturbing.
Great deal of malaria.
Yeah.
And therefore they had given him a great deal of quinine probably. And so there was little dullness. And in that to that dull mind nothing could enter. Therefore we say that may be one of the reasons why he was unconditioned.
Yes.
Why he was not conditioned. That's one point.
Not deeply.
Not deeply conditioned. The other point is, why had he go through all this suffering? Has it any relation to transformation?
Yes.
I say it hasn't.
Yes.
Oh, wait, I must go slowly.
No, slowly.
If I admit that it's part of transformation, every human being has to go through it,
yes.
Which is nonsense.
Well, it would really be impossible.
No, I mean, that's out.
Yes.
I won't even, that's out. Throw it out of the window. Then it's like Columbus discovering America, everybody has to go back. That's absurd. So, then why had he go through it? What relationship has that? I think I've got the answer. Joe. I think it releases a certain quality of energy.
Yeah, the suffering.
Yes. The physical pain of that kind brings about a certain quality of energy.
Yes, but that would imply that those who don't go through it may not have
it. No.
Oh.
No.
Oh, well, what is the point then?
Which means again, I think I've got it. Just let's go slowly, sir. This is rather difficult. If we admit that everybody has to go through it, this process, all the rest of it, I rule it out.
Yes.
Because that would be too...
well, it's impractical.
It would be absurd. Let's...
Yes.
But what takes place? So you're a scientist. You discover something. You see something totally new. And you state that thing verbally and actually. And another scientist picks it up from there and goes on.
Yes.
Here, I think I'm beginning to see light. Here, this man or this boy or this young fellow saw the truth. He discovered something new.
Yes.
As scientists discover something new. And that thing, that new thing, enters into human consciousness.
Yes. I mean, would you say it's totally new? I mean, never had been before?
I don't know.
You don't know. At least for him it was new.
I mean, of course.
Yes, all right, just to get it clear.
I mean, somebody else might have said it.
It could happen. Different scientists could simultaneously discover the same thing, you see.
But what he discovered, what he saw, was something new.
Yes, to him, yes.
To him. No, wait a minute.
Well, it was new, but I mean, you see, we have to be careful.
Be careful here, not to him.
It was new. But
Full stop.
But then you have to be careful that it does not imply that it was not discovered before, you see.
Then
perhaps it wasn't, you see.
I don't know.
Views, you see.
I don't know.
Perhaps that particular thing was never discovered before.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Perhaps something like it may have been discovered.
That's better.
Right?
Right. So, that discovery of something new stated, and others can carry on with that newness and discover something more.
Yes, but what was the role of the suffering in discovering this new thing? Was that to release the energy, or?
Probably.
Probably, but others may release energy in some other way. Is that what you're
saying? Yes. Probably, yes.
Perhaps. Huh?
Perhaps. Wait a minute. This energy is not the energy of thought.
No, the Kundalini is so called.
Yeah. Because I'm rather shy of that word.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of superstition is associated with it. A lot of charlatans and people have been playing with it. There's now become, a man has written a book and he's going around Europe and America forming groups who are awakening Kundalini. There are several people. I saw a film on the TV, a whole group of Americans directed by some in Punjabi dressed in white and doing certain exercises to awaken Kundalini and all that. I think that's all absurd.
But in the case of the young man, you'd think it had a place, I mean.
Yes, that's what I'm coming to.
Yes.
There, the release of that energy is something that must come out of suffering. I'm just exploring, sir.
Yeah.
I mean, change the whole thing, please.
Yeah, I mean, but is that in general or for that particular case?
I think in general.
In general, the energy comes from suffering.
Yes.
And are you implying that there may be some other form of suffering?
That's it.
But not exactly the same form?
That's it. We're slowly getting it. If in the world of reality, in the world of reality, if I don't escape from suffering, if a human being doesn't escape from suffering through various means and so on, that very suffering brings about a great energy.
Yes.
I think this is so. The very word suffering has its root in passion and all the rest of it. So that is so. Here, this case, it was not a suffering of attachment. It was not a suffering of losing somebody. It's not a suffering of physical suffering, because he was pretty healthy in those days. I still is, because he used to walk miles and miles and miles, so there was not all that. So there was no actual psychological suffering except when the brother died. And then he looked at it and got finished with it. But the energy of another kind, if we can go into a little bit, is different.
Yes, but it doesn't necessarily get awakened by the way it did with this young man. I mean, in other words, through the spine and so on. Or is that...
that's what I'm trying to convey.
Yeah.
I think that energy is completely different.
From what?
From this kind of energy.
From the ordinary kind.
From the ordinary kind. And if you say, must everybody go through this in order to get that energy? I say no, certainly
no.
not.
But you're implying that everybody may have to go through some kind of suffering.
No, everybody does suffer.
It does suffer, but if he doesn't escape his suffering...
Then he has got it.
Then he has got the energy.
Yes. Of that kind.
Yes. Now, it doesn't matter. Does it matter then whether the the suffering is the suffering of attachment or some other kind? Do you see?
No, that doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Suffering of attachment, suffering of losing your wife, one's wife, suffering of physical suffering, psychological suffering. There are great many varieties of suffering, and if you can understand, face it, and not escape from it, that has quite a different energy, release of certain kind of energy.
But it wouldn't necessarily take the spine, some process in the spine.
Of course not.
Yeah, I mean, really, so the Kundalini may be a very special idea. I mean, a very limited approach.
A limited approach? Wait a minute. Limited in what way?
Well, when somebody purposely tries to awaken Kundalini, he has in mind something happening in the spine in a certain order.
I don't think so. It can be done purposely.
No. Well, let's say it happens.
That's what they're trying to do now.
Yes, but that would be a mistake.
They're doing it through methods purposely. With the thought is trying to create it.
But wouldn't it be better to say that there is an energy which is released by suffering, by not escaping suffering? Right?
Yes.
Which doesn't necessarily show itself or reveal itself in various sensations in the spine or in the neck.
That's right.
Places, right?
That's right. I mean, a man who has faced suffering and has certain, he has a quality in him.
Yeah.
He's got that kind of physical drive, physical energy, physical passion.
Yes.
Not sexual passion, that kind of psychological passion.
Yes. Now, and with that energy, of course, that is still not the whole thing. I mean,
no, that's not the whole.
That's not all.
No, certainly not all. And we're getting clear.
Yes. And say we need this quality of energy to really see truth as
Yes.
To genuine with the ordinary energy we cannot actually have truth. I mean,
no, with the ordinary.
With the ordinary sort of energy.
No. We say truth is unrelated to reality.
Reality is the ordinary energy, then, couldn't we say that?
That's right.
And
that's right. I mean, like an ambitious man has got tremendous energy.
Yes.
And his energy operates in reality as correct and incorrect.
Yes. Now, let's say this man comes to a certain point where he sees the incorrectness of the whole operation of thought.
Yeah.
But before anything more happens, he needs a much higher energy.
What happens?
Before, the whole perception can work, it would seem he needs the kind of energy you were talking about.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so now, you see, it almost seems from what you say that in some sense you could say nobody is going to be transformed. I mean, in other words, that the issue of transformation is irrelevant.
No.
No, but then we have to see why. Because you say in the case of that young man there was no transformation.
No.
Right? Now what does it mean?
It shows that in the book, you said.
Well, I couldn't see any place where you would say there was one, you see.
Yeah, good.
I wouldn't say that it shows, positively, but in some negative, implicit sense.
Yes. But, sir, there must be a transformation or radical or basic change in the field of reality.
Well, what will become of the field of reality then?
Then there will be order in that.
Yes, all right. All right, so this transformation will bring about order in the field of reality.
In the field of reality.
Yes.
Transformation, which is order and so on,
in the
field of reality.
And then we'd say in some sense there would still be thought, but it is not twisted, right?
No, yes, that's right. It will be correct thought.
Correct thought.
Yes.
But,
logical, sane, healthy, and all the rest of it.
But
that has nothing to do with truth. We said that, right? Now, so I think we went into this too a little bit the other day. The energy of truth and the energy of reality are two different things, unrelated to each other.
Yes, I mean, could we say that in actuality the two, you see, now truth works and operates in actuality.
Yes.
And in some sense reality also is actual.
Yeah, that's right.
Right, now, could we say that reality is a function of actuality? I mean,
reality
is a function within actuality.
Reality is
a function.
Mm-hmm.
Within actuality. You see that it's a function, a certain function
right.
taking place within actuality, a rather limited kind.
Yes. Yes. What are we trying to get at?
Well,
I'm lost.
You see, well, one point is we want to understand, get really clear on what reality means.
I think we are clear about
reality. We're fairly clear that, but I just wanted I think it helps to clear it up to say it is a function within actuality, a function which includes thought and conscious awareness.
In actuality.
In actuality, and various actions which are taking place.
Yes, that is.
The energy, as you say, of the ambitious man is the extreme
It's all
case.
within the field of reality.
The field of reality, which is part of actuality.
Part of actuality, yes.
Right.
What is going on.
What is actually going on.
What is actually going on.
You see that?
That's clear.
That's clear. So
that is reality is the movement of actuality.
It's part of the movement.
Part of the movement.
Because there's a much bigger movement of actuality.
Yeah. Yes, that's right.
And you see, but of course, one of our mistakes, incorrectnesses of thought is to take reality as the whole of actuality.
Yes, quite.
Now, then we say truth also operates or acts in actuality.
Yes.
And see, the way it seems to me is that I would now propose, for what you want to think, that truth has no direct connection with reality, but in some sense through actuality, insofar as it acts in actuality, there may be a connection, do you see? You see, we want to try to say, otherwise, what is this truth? Do you see? That is, we say, there is actuality, and then there's truth, right?
Yes, there's actuality,
which is all action, inside and outside.
Yes, yes.
And it includes perception.
Yes.
And the action of truth, whatever that may be.
The action of... No, go slow.
Yeah.
Now, wait a minute. Actuality In reality, yes.
No, reality is a part of part of the field of actuality.
Reality is part of the field of actuality.
Or don't call it a field, part of actuality.
Reality is part of actuality.
Yes, a small part.
Let me get actual. What is actually going on?
Yes, so reality is part of what's actually going on.
That's better.
And that includes
Reality,
consciousness.
Yes, all that. Reality is seeing what is actually going on.
Well, no, I think that, you see...
I'm sorry, I'm not...
Yeah, you see, reality is a certain part of what is actually going on, that part which we think about. You see, we said reality is what we think about, right? That was the way we started the whole thing, right?
Yes,
right.
That's right. Reality is what we
think about, but it's also an actuality.
Yes,
because we take action from what we
right.
think about.
Actuality, yes. That's
and
right.
that actuality spreads out like a wave, making objects that may go out into the environment and come back. You see, so that if we look at the tree as something we think about, then it becomes part of our reality.
Yes.
And we may do something to the tree.
But it's actual.
It is actual, yes.
That's right. That's clear.
Yes.
That's clear. That's
yes.
clear.
And in addition, we say there might be some actuality to the tree beyond what we think about.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
Or in general, actuality goes beyond what we think about. Actuality is all action.
It's all action, I understand. But when it goes beyond reality, actuality, is that truth?
Well, we don't know that. Yes, you see.
That's what we are trying to find out.
At least it does seem that truth does act in that field, in that total action. Or doesn't it act at all?
Wait a minute. That man or the boy, the youth, saw truth was a pathless land.
Yes.
And no organization could lead to it. Anybody.
Yes.
So he dissolved the organization.
Yeah.
That's the action of truth.
Yes.
He talked to various people, naturally, but the perception and the realization that path is truth is a pathless land, and dissolved it. That's
yes. I see that. Now, so let's look at that for a little while.
Yeah, that's what
see that there was a perception not involving time, a truth that
that's
the
right.
truth
There
has no organization.
There was no time, just saw it.
Yes, and that was an action.
Yes.
And now, from then on, in the field of reality, he was taking actions, talking to people, and so on.
Yeah.
And finding a way to act, finding a way to carry out what that meant, you see. In other words, it took some time before he dissolved the organization.
Because that was simple enough. Because he had to,
well,
he had to dissolve it, give
way.
the right way, and how not to hurt people, and
yes,
give the land.
Not to create chaos. Yes.
That's nothing.
All right, but it took a certain amount of time
to carry it out.
To carry it out. Now, and in that, so let's try to say, in that sense, it seemed that in some way the reality was affected by truth, you see. No, well, let's see it.
No, sir. He saw truth is pathless land.
Yeah.
And an organization was formed around him, and he says, since he saw that the truth is a pathless land, he said, out, finished.
Yes.
But because he was surrounded by organization.
Well, look, does thought become consciously aware of the implications of truth, do you see? In other words, it seemed thought...
no.
It doesn't, but you see, look.
No.
It's not very clear what happened. You see, here's the young man, and his actions have changed. You see, his thought has changed, because at one stage he was thinking, I'm working together with these people, and at a later stage he was thinking, I'm dissolving the organization.
No, not thinking.
No, but he was taking the steps, the thought necessary to dissolve it, right?
No, but he saw...
I know, he saw that the organization has to be dissolved.
That truth was the pathless land and no organization.
No organization. But then
that
came,
is finished.
But to implement that, it was necessary.
No, the implementation of that
I'm
took thought.
trying to understand how thought becomes aware that it has to implement this, do you see?
Ah, I see. I don't think that's very difficult, is it? If you see something,
yes,
and that is true, I mean that is the truth, then you get rid of your things quickly or slowly, finished.
Yes, but thought is aware that you have to think how to do it.
No.
Well, you did, because you thought I must be, not to create chaos, not to harm people.
Yes.
And so on.
But that's all irrelevant.
Well, it may be irrelevant to the main point, but see, it's
you're asking a question. I understand. You're asking.
It was not relevant to that young man at the moment to think about all this, but I'm saying in order to understand what we're trying to do now, it may be relevant.
You're asking, how did thought capture or become aware of that truth?
Yes, or the implications.
Implications of that.
Not
truth.
necessarily the truth itself.
No, implications of the truth, which is, he said, truth is a postulate, no organization necessary.
Yes.
No guru is necessary, basically.
Yeah.
He saw it, acted. For him, that was over.
Yes, I understand it that far. With him, it was dead. You say
it was dead.
Yes.
But he was surrounded by organization
and by all his friends,
by all the implications of it. Dr. Besant, who had built it up, and I mean all that involved.
Well, he didn't want to harm many of these people.
Hurt her.
Hurt her. He didn't want to hurt her, but that was, partly a manner of thinking.
Yes. He didn't want to hurt her, so he told her before.
Yes. And thought had to be aware somehow of the implications of truth to do that.
Yes. I understand the question very well. What's the difficulty? What's the difficulty?
Well, because you see, previously we said that thought, that truth does not act at all in the field of thought or consciousness or reality, but in some way consciousness becomes aware of the implications of truth. You see, there seems to be a difficulty there.
I understand. I must go slowly with this. He saw, acted. To him it was dead. It's finished.
Yes.
Finished means completely ended. No regrets, no...
Yes, it had no meaning.
No meaning anymore. But he was surrounded by all this. How did truth give its intimation to thought?
Yes.
Is that it?
Yes, that's it.
Oh, how did truth convey what it saw to thought?
Yes, at least enough.
Yes.
Not all of it. But
just a little. How did he do it? How did truth intimate to thought? Was there an intimation?
Well, maybe not. You see, then what did happen? You see.
Yeah, that's just. Was there an intimation? Logically, thought saw this.
Yes.
The action which he took, acted, finished, thought saw it. That was correct.
Yes. But how did thought see the action? Do you see, what action did thought see?
What happened?
What happened?
What happened was he saying, truth is past land, no organization.
Right, so let's go ahead. But as the perception was acted, the perception of truth in the actions of the man, right? Is that what you're saying directly?
What is that?
See, thought is not able, we said, to actually see what truth does.
No.
But truth may take an action.
Truth took action.
Took action, and thought can be aware of that action. Is that what you're saying?
Thought can be aware of that. That's right.
All right, it's coming more clear then.
That's right.
Truth takes a direct action in actuality.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
And that action now comes to consciousness, conscious awareness, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
And sees the correctness of it.
It sees the correctness, and then it goes on to think what to do, to implement
right,
it. Right.
That's
all right, so it's becoming more clear.
That's right. That's actually what took place.
Yes.
Because he put it in words.
Yes, the action was to put it in words.
That's right.
But first there was an action before that, some other action, which thought could become consciously aware of, perhaps.
Yes.
And then it put it in words.
No.
Or immediately put it in words.
Yes, truth put it into words.
But yes, truth can act in words without thought, then,
yes.
Right?
Wait, careful. I understand. The description is not the described.
Yes.
The word is not the thing.
Yes, we understand that.
He used the word to describe that.
Yes, but who used it, you see? Was it truth, or was it the...
He saw.
He saw. Now, how did the word come from that? Do you see that?
He saw.
Yes.
And the seeing is the acting.
Yes, the mind was not... That was all dead. And that the action was that the entire structure was dead right away.
Yes. The whole thing was dead.
Yes.
By saying truth was a pathless land.
Oh, but before he even said a word, there must have been a perception.
Of course, there was perception.
And that was all dead.
Dead.
And then it came out, truth is a pathless land. Right.
Then he put it into words.
But I mean, but truth is a pathless land is words, isn't it?
That's merely the description.
The description. Oh, wait a minute. All right, now we left out a step, so we're coming.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Yeah, we're getting it.
All right. So the whole thing was dead. Then came a perception without the word. Truth is a pathless land.
That was perception.
That was perception, but it was we are merely describing it.
Yeah, describing it.
And all right. Now then, how did that come to the word?
We say the word is not the thing.
Yes.
Description is not the described. So, I tell you, look at that tree.
Yes.
You actually look.
Yes.
And the word is not the tree.
Yes.
So you see the tree.
I see the tree, but then I become aware of the tree.
Yes. And then you tell me.
Yes, I'm consciously aware, that is.
Yes.
So, all right, so thought became consciously aware of the perception.
Yes, that's right.
Of the truth as which we describe by the words truth as a pathless land.
Yes.
You see, all right,
that's
so
right.
Good. Now, see, we're making it. All right, so we have a perception, it acts immediately, the structure is dead, and it also contains a kind of a generalization or something universal. I mean, a perception, truth is a pathless land, you see.
Therefore, you're saying truth is universal.
Yes.
That's one thing, huh?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so therefore...
Global.
It was two things which could not be... We were only separating them in words. You see, one was the ending of the entire structure, it was dead, and the other is this universal... Truth is a pathless land, right? Yeah. It is. We are merely describing it in words, but it is not what it is.
Quite right.
Now, that is an action.
Yeah, that's right.
And now, that action, thought can become consciously aware of that action.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So awareness, you see, is a kind of link between thought and
No,
it does not. But at least conscious awareness is what enables thought to pick that up. You see, I'm looking at the tree. I'm both aware of the tree and conscious of the tree. Right? Consciously aware.
Yes. But you telling me about the tree is the description.
That's the description.
You telling me using the word, and you say the word is not the thing.
Yes.
So I have to look.
Yes. You will look, and then that looking is an action.
Yes.
And that action, then thought can become consciously aware of it.
That's right.
Right, and then it can come out as words or pictures.
That's right. That's right. So truth has nothing whatsoever to do with thought.
Yes, but thought can be aware of the action of truth.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
All right, now we're coming.
Yes. Thought can be aware of the action of truth.
Consciously
The action of truth.
Yeah, the action of truth.
Truth. It can become conscious of it.
That's
It says,
it.
right.
Yes,
I've got it.
Yes, it's
That's
conscious awareness, you see.
That's right. Quite right.
All right, well, just for the
so
sake of... Yes,
go
it's
slow, sir.
very
Go slow.
good,
Go
yes.
slow.
It's very
I'm
good
getting
now.
a little bit. Yes, quite right.
Now, I mean, it just occurred to me to ask a question about awareness. You know, I've discussed conscious awareness now, you see, I've been saying, and now is there any other awareness that is not conscious, or would we say that's meaningless?
Yes, there is another awareness.
Right, that is not conscious.
Yeah.
Right.
That is not in the field of reality.
That's the same thing.
Yeah, of course. I just.
Yes. All right, so we are distinguishing conscious awareness from awareness in general, right? Universal.
Yes.
And in fact, awareness would be hard to distinguish from attention or something. But I mean, these words are very hard to define.
I know. So would you put it this way? The center, which is the me, the observer, can be aware of itself, conscious of itself,
Yes.
and operate within that field.
Yes.
That awareness, that consciousness is limited, is enclosed.
Yes.
But there is a consciousness,
Awareness.
An awareness, some other state,
Yeah.
which is not this.
Yes, and that also includes attention, the other state.
Attention.
The other state includes attention and awareness.
Attention.
Yes, there is awareness and attention in this other state. Or no.
No.
But you said there is awareness in the other state.
No.
Oh, you see, it's not very clear.
I must, let's go slowly.
Yes.
That boy must go back.
Yeah.
Pathless land. He sees it. Non-verbally, because there's no perception. Sees it. That is the truth that acts. It's finished.
Yes.
As far as truth is concerned, it's over.
Yes.
Then the wave takes on the words,
Yes, it's the conscious awareness.
conscious awareness, and describes it, and
Yes.
the description is not there.
Yes.
Now, in the field of reality, there is all the conscious awareness,
Yes.
which is limited
Yeah.
with its attention, with its awareness.
Yes.
It's limited.
Yes.
That perception of truth is limitless.
Yes. But would you say that it contains any awareness or not, do you see?
Oh, it's no awareness.
No awareness, yes, that's what we want
that's
to...
it.
Right, that's what we said last time, that there's some nothingness.
It is nothing. It's over. It's
Which, yes.
perception, it's over.
Yes, which, really is not even... It's beyond attention, beyond awareness.
Oh, yes.
Although attention and awareness are themselves not verbal, are not just
Yes.
thought, right?
Yes. Yes, that's right. Although they are not verbal,
Yeah.
they are not shaped by thought.
Yeah.
That attention, that awareness is not there.
Yes.
Quite right.
So could we say the attention and awareness are still part of the physiological structure,
that's
but
right.
beyond thought?
Beyond, yeah.
As thought is a small part of the physiological structure.
That's right, sir.
And there's attention, awareness far beyond that. But then this truth is
Is-
universal. It's beyond that.
It's beyond that.
Yes.
At last we are getting it.
Now, and there is the attention.
You see,
Yeah.
now, it is said, I'm not saying it is so, it is said The awakening of Kundalini,
Yes.
now we are familiar with that
But
word.
the Kundalini would be part of the physiological structure.
No, but according to them, there is an energy which is not physical.
Yes, I see. It's awakened in the physical.
No, you must go through
No,
it
it's
very
awakened.
carefully if you want to know. It goes through various centers,
Yes, but these are physical centers.
physical centers. Like the solar plexus
Yes,
is the main center,
yes,
and below that, and there is a center at the thorax, and center in the back of the head, center in front of the one at the center of the near the heart, and one in the middle of the forehead. Ultimately, it goes through the top of the head.
Yes.
That's there. They say when it goes through the top of the head, that energy is entirely different.
yes.
It's not physical anymore.
No more. Yes, now what do you feel about that explanation?
No, I wouldn't say what I feel. I would say the energy of truth is entirely different from
Yeah.
the energy of reality.
Yes. But the Kundalini might not be part of it, might or might not be the energy. It is not the energy of truth, Kundalini.
No. Wait a minute, we're careful. No?
Yes, well, is it?
We said that the energy in reality is both physiological as psychological,
Yes.
and therefore it's always limited. And we say truth is global,
Yes.
and it has its energy which is global, which is not personal and all the rest of it. That's right.
Yes, I mean, wouldn't you say Kundalini is a side issue? In other words, my own feeling is that once you consider truth, then Kundalini must be something more limited.
Of course.
It cannot be the same as truth.
Of course.
But it might be a combination of physical and psychological energy.
Yes, sir.
Which you say the young man found helpful.
Yes.
Right. All right, now, but that might not be absolutely necessary. In other words, you're saying truth, well?
Yes, sir. I think that's right. Truth is global,
Yes.
and this is limited.
Yes.
Yes. And nobody need go through all this business to see this.
Yes.
Columbus discovered America. That's a good example.
Now, if we take the truth, the energy of truth, which is universal, not personal.
But Johan, so my body's just me. I must take a little.
All right, we'll take it easy.
Because I never talked about this, and my body becomes a little tense. I must. May I get up for a few minutes?
Roll call.
I'll come back, sir.
I'll just stretch my legs. Right.
It's not finished yet.
No, I'm just stretching my legs.
Yes, so am I. Sorry, I must get up a little.
That's it.
You see, sir, there's something much more than all this.
Yes.
Would you accept the word mystery?
Well, yes, I should say so.
There is something which you cannot talk about. which you cannot talk about, which doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
No.
I think truth is that every religion has talked about that mystery. Judaism said the nameless. Hindus have called it Brahman. Others, Christians, haven't gone very deeply into that matter, called it God. But there is something really tremendously mysterious. And we are trying to articulate it in words.
Well, not really. I think we're trying just to clear up
I know.
some of the difficulty of people, of what has been said.
Oh, they're going to have lots of difficulties.
What?
If they read this book, they're going to have lots of difficulties.
I feel that I don't believe that anything we've done clears up this.
We have cleared up a great deal.
Yes, it doesn't touch this mystery, as you
Oh,
say.
no,
No,
it
but
can't.
it's merely so that we can communicate more
Yes.
effectively.
No, but if as a scientist, accept that there is something mysterious,
Yes, I should say, that our reason can only
go so far.
go, in some limited way.
Yeah.
It cannot be limited in any particular way, but it can never be the whole.
Go beyond it quite. See, when you touch that mystery, things are totally different. Sorry, my body is just absolutely shaking with it. Let's calm down. See, so reality can never, thought can never touch that. Then what is it that is aware of that? Or conscious of it? How do you, why do you say there is a mystery?
Well, it's hard to explain, but partly because I can see that the whole thing can never be explained by any thought. In other words,
thought cannot touch it.
Yeah.
Then how? What is it that says there is mystery? You follow my point? You see, the Christians say there is a mystery which you cannot go beyond, which you cannot touch. The saints have said this. I haven't read them, but from talking to some of the people who have read about the saints, like Aldous Huxley, they say there is a mystery which you cannot. I am not sure they touched that mystery, because they were Christians. They were worshippers of certain form.
Yes, well, you may say there's a mystery because you don't want to penetrate. You see, let's try to put it like this, the way I've seen
yes,
it.
Yeah, that's right.
You see, I think that to a certain extent the ego works on a sort of a parody of this mystery. You see, the ego makes itself so mysterious in order to protect itself from being seen. Now, therefore, in a way, the ego presents itself to itself as God, you see, or as the ultimate mystery.
Yes.
And therefore, if it's identified with Christian or some other teaching, it will make these teachings very mysterious too, you see. So there is see, it may be, the way I look at it is that perhaps thought somehow becomes dimly hinted, conscious of something.
Yes.
And it tries to imitate to capture it for itself by imitation.
Quite.
Mm.
Now, would you, as a scientist, trained logically to reason, usage of words, and so on, admit there is such thing as mystery?
Yes, you see, I don't think even, say, our thought will stand up. When probed all the way, it always dissolves, you see.
Correct. It cannot probe beyond, yes.
Yeah, it may extend and extend and extend, yes. But eventually it comes to some horizon,
where it cannot,
yes.
Yes. I think begin again. Because that boy was unconditioned, was not conditioned, though at the peripheral existence he was.
Yeah.
But basically he was not.
Well, can we go slowly here? Because that raises the question of others who are basically conditioned, and could we understand a little of what that means, you see?
Oh, conditioned means with greed, envy, all conditioned.
Yes, but I mean, it's not clear what the difference is, you see.
What is the difference? I think there is a difference. You see, really, if you read that book, he didn't really wake up till about when he was quite late.
Yeah, well, I don't know exactly when, but
quite late.
He already had been picked up by the Theosophists.
Quite late.
Yes.
One of Dr. Besant's suffering or misery was he said to me, I don't know if it's put in that book, he said, "You are now 33 or so.
It wasn't in there.
And you are not interested in anything, not in women, not in what I'm doing, what the book. You're only interested apparently in clothes and cars." And what's going to happen?
Yes.
You follow, sir? It was a tremendous problem to her. Because she invested everything in that boy.
Mm-hmm.
So this conditioning with the ordinary people, I'm not ordinary, I'm sorry, I'm ordinary.
Well, the ordinary conditioning.
That's good. The ordinary conditioning goes very deep, right?
Yes, but it's not clear what makes it go so deep.
What makes it go deep? His education, his environment, his parents, his society, everything makes ordinary conditioning, makes for ordinary conditioning.
Yes, but which somehow...
this didn't happen to that boy.
Yes, could I put it like this, that the really deep conditioning is the conditioning which allows for falsification, for self-deception. You see, in other words, if somebody is conditioned to deceive himself in order to fit better into society. That is the thing we have in mind.
Yes, all right.
That's the really deep condition.
Deep condition.
It's deeper than anything. It's as deep as anything else.
Yes, let's take that for the moment. Deceiving himself in order to fit into society. That's the deep conditioning for the moment, we say.
Yeah.
This didn't take in that boy.
Yes.
Or in that young man. So, he never wanted, there was no self-deception. Right?
Yes. See, there was false information, let's say, that wrong information, which he accepted from the elder people.
Yes, all that.
Yeah.
And so there was never a conscious effort to see truth. Would that convey
Go
anything?
slowly. Yes, I mean I think we skipped a few steps here. You see.
Oh, yes.
You see, that implies that a person who is caught in self-deception feels impelled consciously to seek truth to overcome.
Yes, but no.
No, you see, that was not clear,
No,
you see.
no. A human being deceiving himself in order to society, that is, we say for the time being, deep conditioning.
Yes.
In this case, it didn't take place.
Yes.
Why didn't it take place? Because he was
No, he wasn't absorbing you say he was somewhat dulled by his illness and so on.
by environment,
And
by ill health.
by ill health.
That's one of the reasons.
One and possibly others.
Other reasons. So, there was never any moment where there was no self-deception taking place.
What do you, I don't get that.
Here,
Yeah.
self-deception in order to fit into society. There,
No
no
self-deception.
self-deception. And so because there was no self-deception, because there was no conditioning, he saw directly truth as a pathless land.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
He stated it in words, and words are not a thing, and so the word being thought then operated. No,
Yes.
functioned.
Yes. I mean, that's all worked out now
Worked out.
very clearly.
But that perception is gone, finished.
Yes.
Not gone, it's dead. What
Yeah.
he saw. So truth is timeless from moment to moment.
Yes.
It has no continuity.
Yes.
Right. Then suffering in the field of reality has a meaning in the sense that it can give, if he doesn't escape, if a
Yes.
human doesn't escape, it gives him certain quality of energy.
Now let me go slowly on the suffering. You see, a suffering, either it might be physical suffering, or if it's psychological.
Psychological suffering, no, physical suffering mustn't affect the psychological.
That's right.
That's right.
But now, let's take the case of psychological suffering, which may be due to this contradiction. See, let's say fundamentally a person is conditioned to deceive himself to fit into society so his mother and father and his friends will accept him. He is frightened they won't. And then he starts to suffer because he knows that it's not, in some way, that it's not true, you see.
Yes.
And he begins to cover it up and never...
And so there's contradiction.
There's
in it.
contradiction.
And that's part of suffering.
Yes.
Now, if he faces that suffering,
Yes.
and therefore doesn't deceive himself,
Yes.
then there is a certain kind of energy.
Yes. Now, let's come to why the young man would have suffered. You see, if he didn't deceive himself. You see, I understand why somebody who deceives himself would suffer.
I understand. That's understood. He suffered physically,
Yes,
apparently.
because he'd been ill.
Yeah. And also, all this Kundalini business was physical suffering.
Yes.
Then what's the question?
Well, I'm trying to find why, yes, was that the origin of the suffering?
Physical suffering.
Yes.
I think so.
Yes, and therefore the energy was released because he stayed with the physical suffering and did not escape psychologically. Right?
Yes,
Right.
that's right. That's part of it. That's
Part of
part
it,
of it.
yeah.
Part of it. So what next?
Yes, I think we've...
This is, I don't know, to me, all this is so simple. Because I think when you see truth and act, everything becomes logical.
Yes, well, you did raise the question, what is it that sees?
Yes, what is it that sees?
Yes, sees this whole... how does thought become aware? You see, we were discussing last time, or even this time also, that thought becoming consciously aware will, of its incorrectness, will behave differently.
Yes, yes.
Now, but what is it that...
No, wait a minute, sir.
Yes.
He sees truth passes land. Sees it. And he comes and tells you
Yes.
what he has seen, which is the expression of what he has seen through thought and word.
Yes.
What he has seen is not the word, nor the thought. And
yes, I mean, it may communicate a similar perception.
yes,
right?
yes.
It may not.
Yes.
Or if it does but now there also may be a resistance to this perception in thought. You see, let's say that most people who heard this either didn't understand or rejected it or...
yes, of course.
Yes, now...
because in him, in that chap, there was no resistance.
Yes.
He saw it and he said...
Yes, but now we have to consider the person who has resistance.
Then he says, oh, I must
he'll
have...
reject it.
He rejects it.
Yes, but now since the whole world has resistance and this...
So they reject it.
Yes, but then the question is there a way beyond this resistance?
If I resist what
Yes.
you are saying, what can you do with me?
Nothing, you see, but the only question is whether you can try another communication.
I'm not sure. Wait a minute,
You can try another communication.
No, wait a minute. You say to me,
Yes.
truth is a pathless land,
Yes.
and I'm attached to my guru.
Well,
you're
basically attached to what's false. You're
what
afraid
is false.
Yes,
All right.
afraid of it.
Yes. But what you have said, which is truth,
Yes.
has entered my consciousness.
Yes.
As it is a seed that's operating in me.
Yes, but
that seed is going to do something.
Yeah, it may do something.
I know.
But are you saying that everybody who hears this, it's going to do something?
Must.
It must. I mean, that's the way you feel.
Like Lenin said something, it has affected the world.
Yes, but the effect was not exactly...
No, of course not. I mean, that's a reason. He treated human beings as insect.
Yeah.
And so on, so on. That's it. If the seed of truth is planted in me, because you have said it, it must operate. It must grow, it must function. It has a life of its own.
Well, and how do you, we have to understand some things. You see that many millions of people may have read or heard what you say.
Yeah.
And it may seem that a large number of them haven't understood. Now, do you feel
but
that
it's going on. They're worrying about
on.
it. They're saying, what does he mean by this?
Yes.
It's functioning, it's growing. It isn't dead. So, you can operate something false, and you can say something false, and that operates too.
Yes. But now we have a struggle between those two.
That's just it.
But and we cannot foresee. Can you the outcome of the struggle?
Yeah, of course.
Therefore, we can't be sure of this outcome.
Yes, sir. Just a minute.
Right.
You plant in me the seed that truth is a pathless land. He comes along and plants in my consciousness a seed that says,
there is a way to truth.
There is a way to truth.
Yes.
Follow me.
Yes.
Now both are, one is false, one is true. There's embedded in my consciousness. So, in that, there is struggle going on. Now, what is true? What is false? So the things are operating, which causes more confusion,
Yes.
more misery, and a great deal of suffering if I am sensitive enough.
Yes.
That suffering, if I don't escape from it, what takes place?
Yes, if you don't escape, then it's clear what will take place.
Please.
I mean, then you will have the energy to see what is true, you see. But
That's right.
but now let's take the people who do escape, who seem to be in a
And then-
large number.
They outnumber quite right.
Yeah.
Millions out. So, but still the struggle is going on inside.
Yes, but creating confusion.
Confusion. That's what they're all doing.
Yes. But then we don't know the outcome of that.
Oh yes, we do.
What?
Dictatorship,
Yes, I know. It gets worse.
deterioration.
Yes, but now we want to get it clear. Let's say in a few people who face the suffering, the energy comes to, to perceive the truth, right?
Yes.
And in a large number who escape, it does, it gets worse.
And they rule the world.
They rule the world. Now, what is the way out of that?
And so they say there is no answer to that. So get away from it.
Well, that also won't do, yes.
So the people have.
I know, yes.
They said you can't solve this problem. Go away into the mountains or join them, become a monk. That doesn't solve this.
No.
I mean, all that one can do is go on shouting.
Yes, but I mean, then we have to say we don't know the outcome
Of
of the shouting. No, of the...
if you shout in order to get an outcome,
Yes,
it is not the right kind
yes.
of shouting.
Right. Yes, I mean, that's the situation.
Yeah. You just talk. You just point out. If nobody wants to pay attention, it's their business. You just go on. Now, I would like to get further along.
Yes.
I see now that we see this very clearly. You see, there is a mystery. I won't get back to that, if you don't mind. Thought cannot touch it, and so on, so on. That's simple enough. What's the point of it?
Of what, the mystery? Well, I think the point, it's very hard to put it, but you could see it like this, that if you look into the field of thought and reason and so on, and you see finally it has no clear foundation, it dissolves away at the borders. Therefore, you say that what is must be beyond that. You see, what is the mystery, right?
I understand all that.
I mean, you can't live in this field of reality and thought.
Yes.
Because of all that we said.
I live in the field of reality.
Yeah.
That's my life.
Yes.
There I'm consciously aware and struggle and keep going in that field. And I can never touch that.
Yes.
It's not I can touch it. There's no I to touch it when you really touch it. And you say to me, there is a mystery. Which passes all understanding. Because I'm caught in this, I'd like to get that. I'm using more than I like. When you say there is a mystery, because to you it's a actuality, not an invention, not a superstition, not a self-deceived project, and so on. It is truth to you. And you impress tremendously on me, what you say. It's because you say it, because your integrity is that. You point out to me. And I like to get it, because I say, somehow I must get it. What is your responsibility to me? You understand my position, sir? You say words cannot touch it, thought cannot touch it, no action can touch it. Only the action of truth perhaps will give you a feeling of that. And I, because I am a miserable human being, I like to get some of that. And you say truth is a pastorate land. Don't follow anybody. And I'm left. I realize, I'm consciously aware the limitation of thought and all the confusion, misery, logic, all the rest of it. I can't somehow get out of it. Is your compassion going to help me? You're compassionate, because part of that extraordinary mystery is compassion. Will your compassion help me? Obviously not. So what am I to do? I have a consuming desire for that. And you say don't. Don't have any desire. You can't have that. It's not your personal property. So all that you say to me is put order in the field of reality.
Yes. Yes, and stay and not escape suffering.
Huh?
And not escape suffering.
So put order in the field. Then something will take place. If you really put order. And then you say me, it must be done instantly. There is no, order is not. What is that mystery, sir? Everybody knows. Knows in the sense there is something mysterious.
Yes.
Not the desire that creates there is something mysterious in life, apart from my suffering, apart from my death, apart from my jealousies, anxiety, and all. Apart from all that, there is a feeling that there is a great mystery in life. Is that it? That there is a mystery which each one knows?
Well, I should think that in some sense everybody knows it, yes. Probably one is born with that sense, and it gradually gets dimmed through the conditioning.
And he hasn't got the vitality or the intensity to put away all that.
Yeah.
See, that's also that means there is always God within you. See, that's the danger of it.
Oh, well, not exactly that, no, but there's some sort of intimation left.
Intimation.
Of this thing, you see. You see, I think that, probably children have it more strongly when they're young.
Do you think the modern children have that?
I don't know about them, you see. Probably less. You see, getting into the modern city must have a bad effect.
Of course.
You see, there are many things. One is lack of contact with nature.
Nature.
You see, I think any contact with nature gives that sense of mystery.
Quite.
If you look at the sky at night, for example,
but you see, the scientists are explaining the stars.
Yes, I understand that.
And the Cousteau is explaining
the ocean. Yeah.
The ecologists are explaining. So everything is being explained away.
Yes, well, that's part of it. Has created that sense that we could, in principle, know everything. You see.
So knowledge is becoming the curse. See, sir, perception has nothing to do with knowledge. Truth and knowledge don't go together. Therefore, knowledge cannot contain the immensity of mystery.
Yes, you see, I think if we start with a little child, he may place the mystery in some part that he doesn't know. You see, for example, some place he could put it at the bottom of the ocean or somewhere else, outside, far away from where he is, and then he learns. People have been everywhere.
Yes.
and therefore, the whole thing is, made to appear non-existent.
Yeah, everything becomes so superficial.
Yes.
Correct.
That's the danger of our modern age, that it gives the appearance, some sort of appearance that we know more or less.
We know everything.
Everything. At least we have a general idea of the scheme, even if not the details, you see.
The other night I was listening to Bronowski.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. No, several nights have been listening to Ascent of Man. He explains everything.
Yes.
So the explanations are becoming my.
You see, the original impulse was to penetrate into this mystery. That was the impulse of science.
Science, quite right.
And somehow it has been gone astray, you see, to give the appearance of explaining it.
So, if I may ask something directly, I hope you don't mind. Being a scientist, trained, all the rest of it, in talking, do you get the feeling of this mystery?
Well, I think so, yes. But I think I've always had some of it, you see.
Yes. No, I know. But in talking now, do you get more intensity of it? Not because I feel intense. You follow? That's totally different thing. That then becomes influence and all that silly nonsense. But in talking about something, we open a door.
Yes. Yes, well, see, I think that, that my particular conditioning is, has a great deal to resist this notion of mystery.
Of course.
Although, I think that, science is now going in a wrong direction.
But even the scientists admit something of the mystery.
Yeah, to some extent, you see. But the general view is that could be eventually cleared up, you see. In other words...
yes, quite. Cleared up in the sense, explain it away.
Explained, yeah.
Yes.
Now, I mean, since my own feeling is, that every particular scientific explanation will be a certain part of this field of reality, and therefore will not clear away this mystery.
No.
Now,
No, but it clears it away because I listening to you explaining everything, and I'm just saying there's nothing.
yes, well, that's what the main point of distinguishing between truth and reality. Then you see, because we could say in the field of reality we may explain more and more broadly, without limit. You see, in other words,
what the communists, the present-day communists, that's what they're doing.
Yes, well, not really who do you say, the communists?
Communists.
Well, not only the communists.
Of course, I'm taking that.
Yes, you see, I think, you see, you can say that anything in the field of reality can be explained. You see, we can penetrate more deeply and broadly, and there's limitless progress possible there. But the essence is not explained. You see, that's, in other words...
No, I'm asking a different question, sir. I'm asking you, in talking like this, though you have an intimation of that mystery, being a scientist, serious and all the rest of it, you had an intimation, perhaps long ago. In talking now, do you it's no longer an intimation but a truth. Sorry to corner you.
Well, yes, it is a truth.
So it's no longer an intimation.
I think it's been a truth for a while, in fact, you see, because it's implied in what we've been doing here.
Yes, quite. You see, now it's something interesting. Being, how shall we say, the truth of that mystery makes the mind completely empty. Just a minute. Completely, it's like something silent. It's completely silent. Or because it is silent, it sees it. Not see, it's aware of it. Because it is silent, the truth of that mystery is. I don't know if I'm conveying anything. When the mind is completely silent, not induced, not meditated upon, you put all that, when it is, because it has put order in reality, therefore it is free from that confusion. There is certain silence, but that silence is not real silence, because it's moving away from confusion, but it's not silence. Realizing that is not silence, and not moving away from that realization. Okay, am I conveying something? In the sense, realizing that and staying there. Saying this is not real silence. Which means negating that which order has produced.
Yes, I mean, you say first you produce order. Now, why is it necessary to produce the order first and then
because
negate it?
Obviously, otherwise it's like...
Yeah, all right, yes. Well, first you produce the order, then you negate.
No, negate the silence
which is in that order.
Or that order.
Right.
Because when I have no disorder, there is certain mathematical order, and because of that order, my mind is quiet.
Now wait a minute, you say that's not a true silence.
No.
Now,
Realizing that is not true silence,
yes,
I negate
yes,
the false silence for the moment. So, in the negation of that silence, I don't have any other silence. I don't want any other silence.
yes.
There is no movement for greater silence. Would that be right?
Yes.
Then that total silence opens the door to that. That is, when the mind is, with all the confusion, is nothing, not a thing, then perhaps there is the other. So you're coming to Sana,
Yes.
You better stop now.
Yes.
Can we have some more?
Yes,
there?
that would be good. I mean, what do you suggest?
We'll see.
We'll see when we get there. Yes. Well, no, I think that
We must continue.
we must continue. We've got some.
So
more.
could we continue
Hmm.
by taking actualities one after the other?
What do we mean by actualities?
Actuality in the field of reality. Suffering,
Yeah.
death. Not really go into it very, very deeply.
Fear.
Fear, pleasure, the various
Yeah.
things, and penetrate as deeply as we can. Would that be worthwhile?
Well, we could try that. Yes.
Huh?
Mm-hmm.
We can do that. You see, if we could, you and I only, or do you want anybody else?
Well, it might be easier if we were only us.
You and I,
Yes.
correct.
Would you like to come, sir?
Maybe sit here on it.
Oh,
Yeah?
what?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh,
I mean,
well.
maybe just sit.
Oh yes, of course.
Yes,
I don't care. It's
Right.
up to you.
No, it's up to you. You don't like.
Well, maybe we'll decide it later. Right?
Well, when we talk it over, I think you mean no other participants.
Huh?
You mean no other participants? Is that it?
Yeah, I mean no other.
Oh,
Yes.
Just like
As
this.
now, you mean?
Yes.
Yes. We do participate very
I had an invitation. I must tell you about that. Have you talked, Bohm, about New York?
No, I had to pay for another room.
Show it to you, would you? Oh, switch it off, so it's not worth it.